AP Calculus free response example. So we will focus on part A only today's video. You can pause the video at any moment to read the first couple of lines before we begin part A. So the main thing to be able to state here is that the acceleration is equivalent to the derivative of velocity. Therefore, A of 3 is equivalent to V prime at 3. These things must be written down to get all of your points. The first thing I do is type in the function into y1 under my graph function. Next, I set my window from 0 to 3.5 because that's the time frame set forth in the example itself. That gives me a graph from 0 to 3.5 whenever I need it. All right, next thing I do is I go ahead and take the derivative of my velocity function at x is equal to 3. And remember, the derivative of velocity is acceleration. And that gives me my answer right here. Now we're going to use 4 decimal places, all right? 4 decimal places. All right, so here we're looking at the original prompt. That's the velocity, first thing we're looking at. Now, if you don't have a calculator, that does not stop us from writing down this statement, all right? The acceleration is equivalent to the derivative of velocity. And then I know this is a calculator problem, but this is still a problem that you can still take a derivative by hand. Now, it's going to be pretty long, but you can take this derivative by hand. All right, so this is an alternate way of getting your points. All right, so this is your derivative using the quotient rule right there. And once you have that written down, this is your next thing, because this is where your points are going to come in, because we wanted to know, well, the question asks, what is the acceleration at 3? The acceleration at 3 is equivalent to the derivative of the velocity at 3. All you have to do is take your previous derivative right here and replace every single t value that you see with a 3. Once you put the 3's in there, do not calculate it. Just write in those 3's. Make sure that your statement is numerical, and then you're done. And you can get the same points as the person who had the calculator. All right. So I'm gonna put up a screenshot of this whole thing so that you can take a look at it. Feel free to pause the video so that you can take a look at the derivative and the derivative after we plug in our 3 value. So the graphing calculator will do it the quickest. The problem can be typed into the calculator and you can take the derivative at 3. If you don't have a calculator, you can do all of this by hand. As long as you turn that into a numerical statement, you can still get the same points. For those that always say that they can't afford the calculator, no excuse. You can go to any Walmart. As long as you keep the receipt, they pretty much will take back anything you return. I don't care if you had it for 2 years. Get the calculator, save the receipt. They're going to hold your money as collateral. You can just get your money back once you return the product.